Well, look where we are. I know you guys didn't expect to see this because I normally don't do any NXT takeovers. It has been a very rare time if I ever do them because I'm just not interested in it. I lost interest in NXT a long time ago. You guys know why. But because of what happened on Wednesday with Sting and now Impact working with AEW, I wanted to see what see in disrespect. You now have Sting working with AEW. You now have Impact working with AEW. Pretty much, NXT got its butt whooped severely. It got its ass smacked so bad. It was like 650,000 if I'm right, compared to what was it, 940, 950,000 compared to NXT, compared to AEW. That's substantial. It's still not a lot of numbers, but it is way higher than it should be. So I wanted to know what they were going to do to kind of try and compensate or counteract it. And I'm going to say this. When you look at TakeOver Wargames, you look at a show that legitimately was trying so hard that it looked so rehearsed. Look, I'm not against any of the talent that was doing their work. I'm not against Ciampa. I'm not against Gargano. I'm not against Ember Moon, who looked pretty good there. Ripley or anyone else. Not even Blackheart. Cute woman. Damn it. Why'd I have to be so old? But when you look at this Wargames, literally, the majority of this show looked choreographed. They tried so hard to make this show look good. It looked choreographed to the point where everyone had to do their spots exactly. And if they didn't, it looked rehearsed. It looked like they were just standing around doing nothing, waiting for the other person to do the spots. That's how bad it was. I've seen Wargames before. I've seen other takeovers. And yes, there is some type of look where it's choreographed. There is certain spots that it looks choreographed. But when you look at it this time around, it is so apparent to me how much they had to rehearse this to try and make it look perfect. It looked overproduced. Now, let's look at the women's Wargames. I'm not going to be very specific here. Blackheart looked good. When it came to Ember Moon, she looked okay, but she kind of looked a bit slower than she normally looked. Ripley looked okay. But here's the thing. Yes, it was Candice LeRae's group that won. I was thinking Blackheart's side was going to win, but Candice LeRae did win. But since I don't know how the story's been going on NXT, I can't say this is a good thing or bad thing. So I'm being honest here. I cannot say if the storylines are good because I don't know them. But if you go by how they produce the match itself, it looked heavily choreographed. It looked like the women there were trying way more harder than they should have to make it look perfect. And that was a majority of this show. And I didn't like it. I'm not taking anything away from any of the women. I still love Dakota Kai. She has great talent. But when you see Dakota Kai just standing there, waiting for a couple of women to decide to get up and decide to come at her, and she's just waiting, does not look good. Now, the match that should have opened the show should have been Tommaso Ciampa versus, what is the guy's name? Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher, I believe that's his name. Now, I believe this should have opened the show. Yes, I know you got 2 Wargames that need to be done, but you could have let this open the show. I think it should have opened. It was a very brutal match, and you see Thatcher's ear get busted open. I believe I have a shot of it. It was a brutal match, and I think it should have gone first because going after the women didn't make it look better. Because this match was so brutal, it actually looked non-choreographed. And it looked like it was a real match. And I think it would have helped the show if it was first. But that's just me. Ciampa won it. And I don't believe from what I saw, from what I heard, that it's over But since I don't know the context behind their feud, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I don't believe it's over yet. Now, the match that seemed to be the most funniest to me that I didn't mind. Dexter Lumis versus Grime. And that is Samuel Shaw versus Trevor Lee. Now, I've always loved Trevor Lee. And I love Samuel Shaw. Samuel Shaw is money. If you don't have Killer Cross or Karrion Kross right now because of an injury, and yes, I saw the bird. It looked like a crow. And it sounds like Karrion Kross's voice. And that might be a good thing. He might have healed much quicker than you expected. He should have been out for the entire year and next year. But he might be coming back quicker than you think. But Samuel Shaw, the Dexter Lumis, is a great character, and he pulls it off so well. And if you see Dexter Lumis versus Karrion Kross, that will be a match made in heaven. Because you got two very distinct characters. Yes, they're very similar in the sadisticness, but one's more dangerous than the other. And I want to see which one would win. Now, the strap match wasn't bad, and I didn't expect Dexter Lumis to lose here. He just doesn't seem like the type that was going to lose. And I love Grimes, but I didn't expect him to win. I still don't know the story much other than Grimes was being harassed by Dexter Lumis. But it doesn't mean it was bad. Now, the final match. And let's make this very clear for the men. When it came down to it, it was not much different than women. You had a lot. Oh my gosh. It seemed that by near the middle to the end, once McAfee was involved, look, I'm not against McAfee wanting to be a part-time wrestler. He looks like a part-time wrestler or a manager. He can do managerial work. He looks like he can work a ring, somewhat work a match. But when you see someone like him having to wait for his spots, and then you see everyone else having to wait for their spots because of him, it does make the match slow down considerably. Now, Io Shirai, what she did in the beginning of the show when she put that trash can on her head and her body, and she jumped off the top of the cage to fall on everybody, was insanely stupid. Not insanely epic. That was insanely stupid. I'm sorry, guys. I don't agree with that move. I don't mind like a McAfee jumping off the ring or jumping off the top turnbuckle or even jumping off the top of the cage itself. But what she did was dumb. I just don't agree with it. They were trying way too hard. And when it came to McAfee here, he was trying way too hard to make that thing work, particularly to the point where it looked like no one wanted to catch him when he fell. He fell like a brick onto the mat. It was that hard of a hit. I'm surprised he even got up. And he looked like he was laid out by the time the match was over and Undisputed Era won. I'm not going to say if the match was bad. It just looked heavily choreographed. It looked like they were trying way too hard. And that's what this entire show felt. They were trying way too hard. And it showed. That might be the title of this video. I don't need to go further than that. And I'm sure other fans of NXT are going to say, this is what NXT used to be. It was incredible. Look, I've seen NXT. There's a difference between NXT where you can feel the emotion from these people. And then there's NXT where you can feel that they were trying to make it look good when it wasn't. Something was off on NXT and it showed. And it looked like to me that these people were trying to compensate for it by producing the most perfect show they could. And it didn't work. It missed the mark for me. Not because I don't like high spots. I mean, I like a balanced match. But there are times we can get high spots. There are times where you can have a high level of match quality. And when it came to the North American title, and you see Duff going against Damian Priest and Gargano, and where it looks so dumb that Duff is there. I don't know the story behind Duff winning the title. I mean, they showed a flashback. They showed a promo segment. But it didn't feel like Duff should have been the champion. At all. It felt like they tried another Ellsworth. And it didn't feel like it was working. And they just did this to try doing a Ellsworth type of character again. And I don't understand why they gave him James Ellsworth type of character and then he getting the damn title. I just don't agree with it. It doesn't feel like it was right. And then seeing a Damian Priest having to try and win the damn match and then having people that look like Retribution appear out of nowhere with damn masks just made it worse. They were trying so hard, it missed the mark. Anyone else? More power to you. Hope you enjoyed it. For me personally, NXT Wargames felt they tried too hard and it missed the mark. I hope you liked this review. Watch for Tuesday and Wednesday. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.